Hello everyone, how are we doing today? So today we're going to be looking at the cranial nerves here. So I took a little video of the brain model. This was the same video of when we talked about the regions of the brain. I just wanted to now cut out a section where we can focus on the cranial nerve. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to label all 12 cranial nerves, and then we're going to talk about which ones are motor nerves, which ones are sensory, which ones are both, and then which ones are part of the parasympathetic nervous system. Then I'm going to hop into 3D organ and anatomy and show you how this all looks on a 3D model. But first, I want to start by labeling the parts that we have in the laboratory model. So finding a good little resting point here. Now we can go through and label the different parts. So bringing out my little trusty line drawer here, we're going to start up here, Cranial Nerve 1. So I'm going to draw them all and highlight them first, and then we're going to go back through and label the different parts. Right here, some of these you can see the Roman numeral on, so it gives away the answers. Not all of them we can see the Roman numeral because they're a little deeper hidden in there. But we're going to be focused on just the 12 cranial nerves in this one here. Right here's Cranial Nerve 2, just making sure I draw them from the correct spots. And again, some of them might be a little harder to see here because I didn't get the video angled enough deep down in there. But it'll help once I show it via 3D organ. So right down there is number 3. And then that little bump right there is actually number 4. You can see the number 4 written right there. I'm just spacing it out. I did a side drawing here so I can get the spacing down. So the lines for everything I'm drawing on this as I teach it to you guys. So then there's 4, and then we have 5 right down here on the side. 5 is also this little bump over here. So if you look at the side of this model, there we'd see the Roman numeral 5. Then 6 labeled right there, but I'm going to be labeling it on this side here. 7 is then this little bump right here. Right there, that little bump is 7. That little bump, just know it's a nerve coming out. 8, then we have down right here, there's a bump coming out there. We can see that same bump over here then. So right here is 8. 9 is then coming out right here. So 9, let me make sure I'm drawing this to the right spot. Yep, 9 right here. 10 is this outcropping right here. And then this last 11 right here. And then finally 12. So here there's a layer. Look at this model. This one's a little deeper. So when I'm drawing this line from here, notice that it's deeper. So down here, this little outcropping, or this little nerve coming out, is what this line is here. Now this one is 12. This is the last one. It's more superficial compared to looking at this model here, looking up and down. All right, so there's all 12 lines. Now we get to fill in the names. Okay, so Cranial Nerve 1 first. This is the olfactory. Factory. So this is Roman numeral 1. Number 2 here is the optic nerve. 3 would be this one right here. So 3 is the oculomotor. Or 1, 2, 3. 4 is in this one right here. This one is the trochlear. Again, we talked about the physiology, well, not really physiology, but like the purpose of what each one of these does in the lecture portion. We're just focused on where they are on the brain model right now. So here, trochlear, Roman numeral V, or number 4. Number 5 is then right here, trigeminal. We're going to see where this gets its name coming up when we look at the organon model. And then 6 over this one right here, also labeled this part right here. This is the abducens. So VI. 7 is then the facial nerve. That one's right here. So VII. 8 then is the vestibulocochlear. This one right here. Vestibulocochlear. So this is a combination of the cochlear nerve and the vestibular nerve. This one's for hearing and balance, but this is number 8 VII. And then number 9, right here, the glossopharyngeal. So glossopharyngeal. And sorry, wording isn't good, but you can look at the captions to see the correct spelling right there. My handwriting isn't great today. So glossopharyngeal is right there. Then the next one is number 10. This is the vagus nerve. Then 11 is the accessory nerve. So XI. And then the last one is the hypoglossal nerve. Oops, I didn't want the parenthesis there. I want it over here. Or XII. So number 12 here. So last one. Now I want to label a few other things in this picture to help bring it all together. I know this is more of the physiology part, but it's an important little part here. So here, if I write S, that means sensory. And then I also might write what the sensory input is for each one. So olfactory does have sensory. So we have S, and this one is for, not taste. Getting ahead of myself here. This one is smell. So this is one you find for smell. Optic, that one should understand. Optic nerve goes to the eye. This one is for vision. Then we have the trigeminal. This is just general senses. I'll just write that over here. So general. And then facial. There are a couple that do taste. This is one that does taste. Another one that does taste is glossopharyngeal. And then the last one that does taste is actually the vagus nerve. So 3 different ones go to taste. And then the vestibulocochlear one, this one, of course, is hearing / balance. Kind of running out of room here. So hearing and balance for the vestibulocochlear nerve. Next one I wanted to talk about here. So let's switch colors here and go to pink. So now pink is equal to motor function. So here, providing some sort of motor output. The trochlear nerve has motor output, for working the eye. Facial nerve also has motor output. Vestibulocochlear, I'll just write some here. So there is some motor output to control the stereocilia in the ear, the little cilia in the ear, to protect them from noises that are very loud. Hypoglossal, motor, important for swallowing. Accessory nerve is mostly motor. The vagus nerve is also motor. The abducens nerve is motor, goes to the eye. And then oculomotor nerve is, of course, motor as well. Then the last thing I wanted to label on this one is going to be in green, and we're going to use the abbreviation PS for this one, which means it's part of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, I know we haven't lectured on the parasympathetic nervous system, but I still wanted to go over it here. That'll be a lecture coming up here soon. So here, oculomotor is part of the parasympathetic system. Think about how your eyes change in rest versus digest, which is what parasympathetic versus sympathetic is all about. So that's more of an autonomic control function. Glossopharyngeal, also parasympathetic. Vagus nerve is a major parasympathetic system that goes to most of the organs below the neck. Facial nerve is also parasympathetic, and those are the main 4. So 4 of the cranial nerves are parasympathetic. Okay, so that is the overview of all the cranial nerves. So make sure you can understand and identify where the structures are of these nerves. So make sure you get those down. Next, so here I'm going to clear this. So make sure if you're taking a screenshot to take it now. So we're going to clear that and go back here. And so just playing the rest here. This isn't a long video. It's cut from my other brain video. But so just going looking at the different parts of the cranial nerves. And the last part of this little lab lecture here is I want to go back to 3D organon. Look how complex this gets if you're not just looking at the little nubs coming off of the brain there, the brain model. So these nerves are very complex. They have a lot of branches. And I know we talked about some of these branches in the lecture. But I just wanted to show them here of where they come off here. I want to hide the cerebral hemisphere. It helps see it a little better here. And so if we go in, we can identify them all. Here's, number 1 here. This is the olfactory. Comes right in. So they're named based on how they go down the brainstem here. So there's number 1 right here. Number 2, oculomotor. No, number 3 is oculomotor. Number 2 is the optic nerve, which is coming back right here. Sorry, I screwed up. So if we throw the skeletal system in here, look where that goes. So if we put the skeletal system right there is, where the eye would be, and right there's the optic nerve. So there are other nerves that come through here as well. So right here is the oculomotor nerve, which is number 3. Right then there, another part of the oculomotor. There's the oculomotor, trochlear nerve. It's going to the trochlea. And then the abducens nerve is also going to the muscles of the eye. So there 4 different nerves are coming to the eye. Then this one here is a branch of the trigeminal nerve. So if we go down here and remove the skeletal system now, so let's remove the skeletal system. We follow this one back. Right here we have the trigeminal nerve, which remember is nerve number 5. And then this goes meaning 3 branches. One is ophthalmic, going up to the eye region there. One is the maxillary region, and one is the mandibular region. And each of those then have multiple branches to them as well. So there is the trigeminal. The trochlear one we just mentioned as well. That's number 4. Abducens is then number 6. So abducens is right here. Now this one, so right here's the pons. This is medulla oblongata down here. So it comes out of kind of the medial region, just maybe off medial region of the medulla oblongata. That's number 6. And then right there is the facial nerve. So facial nerve separates into a whole bunch of different branches right here as well. So here, different branches. This one, you don't have to know all these different branches. Temporal branch, zygomatic branch, buccal branch, mandibular branch. Remember, during a lecture, we talked about how we can put our hand like this and talk about those different, or identify those different branches. So if we show the skeletal system again, we can see how all those different branches then go to different regions. And this is a nice way to summarize that. So like temporal one going up temporal area, facial, the buccal one going to the buccal region. So then if we even add the muscles in here, so adding the muscles, right, there's the masseter, and we add a few more here. Right, there's the buccinator, so that's why this is the buccal branch of that. And then down here you have the mandibular branch, because the jaw is the mandible. So then we can add muscles to this and see where they're going as well. It just gives a better idea. Like, look at how these nerves are just wrapping around the sternocleidomastoid muscle right here, all branching from that facial nerve. So let's hide the muscles, hide the skeletal system, and come back down in here. We're going back down through the brainstem now. So down here then we have the hypoglossal nerve. Remember, that's cranial nerve 12. So that's the lowest one. We're going on the back side here then. So there's the glossopharyngeal one. There's the vagus nerve. Now I want to isolate the vagus nerve to just show how long it is. So there's how long that vagus nerve is. So if we de-isolate it, we can see it's, same size. It goes all the way down below the neck. It's the only cranial nerve that extends below the neck. And then here's the spinal accessory nerve. So this one is number 11. You can see how it's going down. If we isolate then, we can see the structure, how this one does go to the neck region and cervical vertebrae and so forth. So yeah, I think I didn't get vestibulocochlear. Let's see if we can find that one here. Hypoglossal, where'd it go? There it is. Sorry, it's messy in here in this little region. There it is. There it's hiding. Vestibulocochlear now. So if we add the temporal region here, hide this, we can see how that goes right to the ear. So yeah, just wanted to highlight the different nerves and then show them on the body. So the next video I do for the lab will be looking at the other nerve plexuses in the body. So we have the axillary ones, and then we go down here, and now all these nerves coming out of the spinal cord. So we're going to focus on that in the next video, but this is all I have for this one. So I hope you all have a great day. If you have questions, please let me know, and bye-bye.